Alrighty, everybody. It is currently Thursday, April 10th, 2025. The Masters have started today. The Masters, the golf tournament. I've been watching a little bit of it here and there. I had a fucking dumbass science lab today, and so I watched it there, and I did identify one Latino in the crowd. He was a Venezuelan. I didn't find what we all were looking for. All right, I didn't find one yet. I looked at the names a little bit. I didn't see any names that gave it away. And if you don't know what I'm talking about a golf tournament, right? So you can already, if you didn't pick it up from there, you might want to go get a test done on you. But if you didn't pick it up from there, it's a golf tournament that takes place in Augusta, Georgia, in a private country club. Augusta. You can't even say the word Augusta without sounding like a slave owner. It's impossible. It's like the word Congo. Like, try to say Congo without sounding African. You can't. Congo. I mean, even if you, you know what I mean? You gotta sound African when you say Congo. Same with Uganda. That's another one of those. You gotta, say it in the accent. And Korea. I feel like Korea. Even if I don't say it in the accent, I can feel it bubbling up inside me. You know, the people that created the word, whoever came up with Augusta specifically, you could say if I was referring to Augusta, Maine, there's no inclination for me to say it like a guy who owns other people. But if I'm talking about Georgia, I got Augusta, same with Uganda. If there was there's probably a town in Ohio named Uganda, Ohio, and I could probably say Uganda, Ohio, in just the normal way I talk. But if I'm talking about Africa, the spirit, Uganda, I am from Uganda. Huh? What are you doing here? It bubbles up inside me. Something about it wants me to say it. You know what I mean? My brain, the flashes of those shitty Ugandan movies that everyone was watching. You know. Those shitty memes that came out of it however long ago that was, probably 10 years ago by now, but that just bubbles inside of me. It flashes through my mind like a D-Day flashback, you know what I mean? I stormed the beaches of Normandy. That's what happens when I think of the word Uganda. Same with Congo. I'm I don't know, something about it. I just feel like I've been there before, you know? And I don't think I was ever African in a past life. If past lives were real, I don't think I was ever in Africa. I think I was probably in Mexico. I think I was probably somehow I popped out on the other side of the border on this one, but I feel for the longest time I've been in Mexico. If we're talking about past lives and shit like that, I don't think I was maybe in Europe for one of them. You know what I mean? But I was still in a Mexican part of Europe, if that makes sense. Somewhere in Ireland or Bavaria or something like that, where they play accordions and dance and drink beer. I feel wherever I was, it was basically Mexico. I can feel the Mexican spirit in my heart. I've wanted to be Mexican my whole life. See, and this is why, some people talk about, the whole transgender thing. They're that's complete nonsense. What about transracial? That's ridiculous, right? And I'm yeah, dude, that's so crazy, right? Who would ever want to be a different race? That's how I feel about Mexicans, dude. I was born to be a skinny Mexican with the worst fucking haircut you've ever seen and a 300-pound girlfriend. I was born to just wear, shitty boots from Boot Barn everywhere until they're falling apart. That's what I was born to do. I was born to have my dad pick tomatoes all day, but instead I was born in this dumb, fat, white body. I was born with a gigantic belly and flabby love handles. I was meant to be a 120-pound Mexican man that that can't fuck his girlfriend. Just physiologically, just it's not possible. I'm too skinny and she's too fat. That's what I was meant for. I can feel it in my spirit. I feel like when I see a hot chick, you know, a Margot Robbie or whatever, I feel disgusted that I'm attracted to her. You know what I mean? How gay dudes in the 50s would be why am I attracted to men? They would feel bad about themselves and talk about it at confession or whatever. That's what I feel when I'm attracted to Margot Robbie or whatever. I'm why do I feel this way? Why? I'm supposed to be attracted to fat Mexican women. I know it. I can feel it in my soul, you know? And that reminds me of this guy. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. This guy who, committed a mass shooting, right? But this has to be the funniest one. There might be one funnier than this. There might be a dude. There might be a dude who came out there with a Looney Tunes, an Elmer Fudd gun, and accidentally the gun blew up while he was trying to shoot someone with it. That might be funnier than this one. But dude, this has to be number one. So this guy, his name was Randy Stair. All right. And I don't know why mass shooters always have the craziest fucking names like that. There's Dylan Roof, Randy Stair, Dylan Crawlspace. I don't know who's next, dude. Jonathan Basement. I don't know who's fucking next in the school, or not the school shooter, like the mass shooter department. And this guy, he also shot up a grocery store. I don't know why they like shooting up grocery stores so bad, but this guy also shot up a grocery store like Dylan Roof. I think Dylan Roof shot up a grocery store. I don't know. Someone shot up every type of building in America, dude. Every type of building in America has had 20 people die in it at least. A dude with a bowl cut. Any type of building you can think of. Literally, like, name one. The most random, like a hardware, like a shitty Ace Hardware. There's probably been an incident like that. Like a dude with a bowl cut with a gun that he doesn't know how to use, just dropping people in there. But this guy, Randy Stair, he was convinced. He was like obsessed with Danny Phantom, right? Like the show. I'm a Phantom. Like he was obsessed with that show. And he made like his own characters for it and stuff, right? He like made his own. There was 2 chicks. I don't remember their fucking names. It was like Angelica and like some shit like that. It was like some dumb fucking ghost name, like the most unoriginal names you've ever heard. But he was like obsessed with that show, and he made these 2 characters for it, and they were both chicks. And he was convinced that like when he died, he was gonna be reincarnated as a cartoon, which is just so funny. And I wish we could have known. Like, some people with their time machine would go back and like kill Hitler or like talk to Jesus or whatever. I want to talk to this dude to figure out what he was thinking, because I don't think he understands like how cartoons work. Like, cartoons aren't like a reality TV show that was filmed in another dimension and then like somehow the film got here. It's like, no, someone like animated that, and he made these cartoons. He actually made the cartoon, right? Like, or something like that. It might have just been an audio thing, but he like hired these voice actors to like do this cartoon for him. And the funny thing about that is like one of the people he hired like didn't do it right, or like just completely like fucking scammed him and just took his money and didn't do the voice acting for it. And I wonder if she like, because it was a chick, and they like showed the messages he sent her, and it was like, "Where's my lines at?" And he also like posted these videos online ranting about it, and he's like, "She didn't send in the fucking voice acting clips yet," and he's just like screaming about it or whatever. And I wonder if she woke up one day and she's like, "Fucking dude, that $400 I got from that retarded guy who lives in his parents' basement, I wonder if I'm gonna spend that today." And then she checked the news and she was like, "Oh fuck, maybe that one might be on me a little bit." You know, she put her hand in the air. Coach, that plays on me. You know, she hit that to God. She's like, "God, look, hey, fucking that's on me, but how was I supposed to know?" And he was just like convinced though that he was gonna end up in like this Danny Phantom realm as these characters that he created, dude. And it shouldn't be surprising that like a mass shooter's retarded, because like they're just like killing in his. I don't get it. I don't get Matt. I'm going to go out on a limb on this one. I'm going to say people that commit mass shootings are crazy, but I just don't get it. He was like convinced he was going to wake up in this cartoon dimension. And the funniest fucking thing about him committing this mass shooting, right? So he worked at this grocery store, and for some reason, and I can imagine this kind of a little bit, I think he worked the night shift a lot too, so he was already on the edge. People that work the night shift either get addicted to pills or like kill themselves or commit a mass shooting. There's no other way around it. Or you just like slowly, like your brain just gets ground into dust, you know. No matter what, that's what's going to happen when you work the night shift. But he worked the night shift at this grocery store, right? And he had like this manifesto or journal, or like I guess like a suicide note for a mass shooting that he wrote before he did it. And the funniest fucking thing about this, and I watched like an hour documentary about it, the funniest fucking thing. So he was like, "Tori, you're chill or whatever. I like you. You were always nice to me, but you gotta go." And he was like, "Everyone else, fuck you." And so he goes to commit the mass shooting, right? And like, he just doesn't kill one of the people. Like, he kills the chick that he was like, "Dude, you're fucking nice," but he kills that one. And I think he killed like one other person, but like everyone else that was on his hit list, he just completely messed it up. And he like shot a bunch of pickle jars or something. He was just running around on it like it was a Call of Duty map, and he was looking for glitches. He was like bumping into the shelves, like knocking them over, shooting them and stuff. This guy was fucking retarded. And that is, you got to look at it when it's like a mass shooting like that, because what am I going to do? You know what I mean? These guys are fucking schizophrenic. I'm not going to change a schizophrenic's mind. You're not going to change. Schizophrenics might be easier to like change their mind on shit than like a normal person. Like a normal person like has less of an ability to like look at the world like that. You know, like look at the world a different way. Like say what you want about schizophrenics, but they do tend to look at the world in a different way than everyone else. So I think it would have been pretty easy to like convince them of some other shit. You know what I mean? And that's what I think we need to do. Like to solve the homelessness crisis, it's mostly like a drug addiction and like a mental illness crisis, right? Like it's not, there is like a housing crisis going on, but like you can get a house, you know, you can sleep on a futon for $500 a month if you need to. So it's like mostly like a mental health and a drug addiction crisis. I think for the mental health aspect of it, we just got to like convince them of something else. Be like, all right, there's a grand conspiracy about this. All right, you're right about this. There is a grand conspiracy going on. But what you don't need to know is that the people controlling the world, the lizard people, they don't want you to get a job and have a family and live in a stable household and be a hard worker. They don't want that. All right, they want you to be a homeless bum. I think that's what we have to do to stop the housing crisis. And I was talking to my friend about this. I think the housing crisis is over, guys. I figured it out. I also went to the grocery store the other day. I think it's going to end soon because there was a big ass box of crackers that was cheaper than the small box of crackers. So I'm not an economist, you know, but I think the tariffs are working. I think it's over. And dude, the tariffs are so, because I don't fucking understand the tariffs. I'm not going to pretend like I do, but people say they're like the tariffs. We're going to put all these tariffs on China so that these manufacturers are forced to bring this shit back to the U.S. And it's like, that's going to take 30 years for someone to build a factory. Anyone that's ever like seen something get built, like a big construction project or whatever, that's going to take 80 fucking years for like a lawnmower seat manufacturer to like get their shit up and running. It's going to take fucking forever for it to happen. But I don't know. I don't understand the tariffs at all, and I'm not going to pretend to. But I think I did figure it out. You know, big box of crackers, cheaper than a little box of crackers, same brand and everything. And these ones, it was a Triscuit, right? We were looking at Triscuits. We were trying to secure the Triscuits, you know what I mean? And the big one, rosemary flavored Triscuits too, and the small one was a plain flavored box of them. You know what I mean? And I can't imagine anyone prefers plain Triscuits over the rosemary flavor. It was like rosemary and olive oil, delicious, dude. A nice little taste of Sicily here in Minnesota. And so I think the economy's coming back. I think Trump figured it out, you know? And I think that whole Elon thing he did, I don't think that was for him to like pass the buck to someone else for like a bad decision or whatever. I think he was just fucking with him. I think he was just like, dude, this fucking guy won't leave me alone. I'm just going to bully him. That's all I'm going to bully him for however long. It's been 4 months, and then I'm just going to fix the economy somehow. Even though I don't know about that. I don't know if the president, because the president, and I don't know, they can't like fire the White House chef. So I don't really think it's him. I think it might be another group of people. I think another group of people might be helping us out with this one. But I don't know. And I'm not too scared of like abortion being taken away or anything like that, cuz I don't have a uterus or anything, but like, and also I'm a virgin, so I'm not, you know, that's not on the top of the list of my concerns, but there was the whole thing going on with Snow White, right? Like everyone was like hating on Snow White or whatever, and this does relate to like the incel virgin thing. Like people were like, she's so annoying, she's such a bitch or whatever. And I don't know, I was on TikTok or Twitter or Instagram or like one of those fucking things, and I saw a video of her like talking, and I was like, this is just a chick. Like I think the incel epidemic has, in a way, like, I think maybe they're right. Like, incels do hate women, but not for the reason they think, right? Like, the reason incels hate women is just because they're not used to them. And so every time, like, they see a woman talk, they're like, this is a fucking insane, this person is out of their goddamn mind. What the fuck is she talking about? Like, every time, like, I have sisters and shit, and so I grew up with this. And it's like, I don't know, if you just like know women like that, you're just like, yeah, they just fucking do that sometimes, right? It's like if someone was never around like a cat or a dog their entire life, and then they heard a dog bark and they were like, what the fuck is wrong? Why did it just make that noise? I think that's what the equivalent is. Like, incels just spend so little time around women, and fucking look, I know the pot's calling the kettle black on this one. I don't care. This is just an observation. They spend so little time around women that, like, when they see a woman like just freak out like they do. You guys know they just do that sometimes. They're just like, what the fuck is going on here? And this isn't just like a thing that dudes notice. I feel like chicks notice too. Like every time you talk to a chick, they're like, this fucking annoying ass bitch, she won't shut the fuck. And it's like, once again, pot calling the kettle black there. You know what I mean? Just she's so fucking annoying. She never shuts her fucking mouth. She's always saying some stupid shit. And her fucking posts on Instagram are so dumb. Like, they don't even matter. It doesn't even matter. It's like, you know what I mean? They don't notice it either. I think because their brain works like that, I don't know. Something about them. You know, they say God's in everyone. And if God's a man, then... You know what I mean? That little piece of God is bubbling up, being like, God damn, can this bitch shut the fuck up? But I don't know. That is my theory that's going on right now. And speaking of theories, I was thinking about, like, this could be a fun episode idea, and I think I'm going to do this for next Sunday, because I feel like this is going to take a while to do. I'm going to, like, make my own conspiracy, because I am a big conspiracy theory guy. Like, Pizzagate, fucking, you know, Epstein... You know, the classics. I'm into the classics. You know, I tried getting into the Holocaust, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. Whether it's real or not, I just couldn't get into it. It's too much work. Right? It's just, that's like the fucking calculus of it, right? Like, that's some advanced shit. That's like the Magnus Carlsen of conspiracy theories. Like, they're counting pixels on a screen, analyzing pen I just can't do all that. And it's just not as fun. Like, it's done. It's over with. It happened. It's already over. But like the pedophile, like the human trafficking, that shit's going to keep going on no matter what. So I feel like that's a pretty fun one that anyone could get into. 9/11, of course, that's like a classic. That's how you get in there. That's how you introduce them, you know what I mean? Like 9/11's like the Oxycontin of like conspiracy theories, right? You're just like, it's just a pill. My doctor prescribed it to me. What's the big deal? Like, that's what 9/11 is. They were like, they already did an investigation into it in the first place, so I might as well read a little bit about the investigation, right? Like, that's the Oxycontin. And pretty soon, dude, you're on fucking Kensington Avenue. You're on Skid Row, sucking dick for a fentanyl pill. That's how it turns out. But I think I'm gonna like try to craft my own conspiracy theory, because the way everyone like debunks conspiracy theories is they don't really debunk it. They just go, yeah, that's bullshit. Those connections make no sense. Like, that's how they debunk conspiracy theories. So I'm gonna see like if that's true. Like, if you can just completely make random connections through it that are like logical and make sense, you know, if you know what I mean. But I think the hardest part about it is going to be the first step. But I was thinking I could do Sydney Sweeney and like her fake boyfriend, which is a little conspiracy that I cooked up last episode, was that it was just completely fake. So I think I could do that, cook up a nice little conspiracy theory there. It could very quickly get anti-Semitic, but that's where it all goes to, right? That's all roads lead to Rome in that situation. It always leads back to like the Talmud or the fucking Cabal or whatever. That's like the classic, right? It's just where it's gonna go. It's like if you hop on the interstate, you're gonna come across a big city sooner or later, right? Like, that's, you could hop on in like the fucking desert of New Mexico or Nevada or whatever. Eventually, you're gonna find like Prim, you know. So it's gonna lead there eventually. I'm gonna try to stay away from it for as long as I can. I'm gonna hold back, you know what I mean? I'm on the horse. I'm gonna pull on its reins as hard as I can. No, don't go there. But the horse, it knows, dude. It wants to go straight to Jerusalem. It wants to head over to Tel Aviv and talk about Benjamin Netanyahu. So, I don't know. But I think that's where the situation leads. It's where it always leads. I don't know how. I think it's because, like, that shit's just got so much shit in it, right? Like, it's like a 4,000-year-old religion. It's all written down. Everything about it is written down. All, like, the records of it are always written down. It's like, you know, so that's where it's going to go back to eventually. So, look, I'm just warning you. I'm warning you, that's where the show's going to go, you know? It's like a WWE match. It's like, you know, sometimes it's just people talking, but eventually some dude's going to get kicked in the nuts by a referee. It's what's going to happen there. And yeah, I think I'm going to cook a little conspiracy there. I've been thinking about doing a conspiracy episode, but like all like the, you know, the ones that aren't wildly anti-Semitic, they're just so boring. It's like one of them was like Paul McCartney got replaced by a clone, and it's like, either fucking way, that guy, like, you know, he got ultra. He got his mind destroyed by like acid and like, I don't know, fucking meditating for hours a day in India. So it's like, whether he was replaced by a clone or not, he's a retarded guy, essentially. You know, it's And he's also British, so it's like I just can't be bothered. I can't care about that in any way, shape, or form. That's like the main one that I was gonna do. And then there's like the JFK assassination, which that one's just so fucking convoluted. And that's how you know there's a conspiracy behind it, because it's just so fucking convoluted. There's like 18 different like agencies involved. There's a million different people. You're never gonna figure that one out. And also, whoever took that shot, whoever, fuck me right in the ass. This is very annoying. What the fuck? Computer. God damn it. All right. I guess I was getting too close to the truth there, because my computer just completely spurged the fuck out. Speaking of spurged the fuck out, I guess season 3 of Love on the Spectrum just dropped. And I was looking at it. I was looking at the accounts and shit. And my boy James B. Jones. If you don't know James B. Jones, he is the fucking man. All right, you gotta give him his flowers. Secured him an absolute baddie, dude. A few of them have done it. If you've watched season 1, then you know Sabode, the big fat little Indian guy. You know what I mean? He secured an absolute baddie too. I gotta hop on that train somehow. I'm pretty close. You know what I mean? I'm right on the cusp there. I'm really fucking close, right? I'm on the practice squad right now. That's where I'm at with autism. I'm on the practice squad. I just need one injury to happen. I just need one fucking, please just let the starting right tackle get injured, dude. Then I'll be off the practice squad and I can show what I'm made of. I just need one fucking injury and I can get in there, dude. They've secured some absolute baddies, dude. James B. Jones. Fuck, dude. If one more of them does it, I might have to kill myself. That just might have to be. It's the only option left at that point. Like, if they can do it, I can too. I just gotta find a chick who's really into conspiracies. But that's the thing about it, right? Is that you're not gonna find one. You're just not. They're too complicated. I have to start like a massive cultural movement to get their attention off of reality TV and then onto Tower 7. That's what I have to do. I have to be like, yeah, Love Island's really cool, but like, imagine if like the villa just suddenly collapsed for no reason, right? Like, what if like all the retarded British people were in there and then the villa just completely collapsed for no reason and they blamed it on a furniture fire, but like, how could a furniture fire like collapse a fucking stone building? That just doesn't make any sense, right? Like, wouldn't that be crazy? Yeah, that would be fucking insane, wouldn't it? And it's like, well, do I have some news for you? I don't know if you're a history buff. I don't know if you know a lot about American history, but something similar happened. I think I got to do that. Just start a massive cultural wave of like, I need to, and this is what I was talking about last. I don't know if this was the last episode I did of like just getting like retarded chicks to analyze politics, like like the fucking some dumb blondes from Barstool to talk about politics as a reality TV show, because that's all it is. It's just a reality TV show, especially with Trump in office. That's all it is. I need to do that, but with conspiracy theories too, dude. I've got a lot of fucking work to do. I've got to wrangle in these dumb fucking blondes, and I've got to. Where do they spawn in? Where do they all come from? I don't know. It's probably some like small shitty town in Michigan. It's probably like a whites only town in Michigan somewhere that they're all created there one day. It's the only factory left in America. The only factory left in America makes the dumbest fake blondes you've ever met in your life. The most retarded women with the most obviously fake hair. This is where, or I could convert to gay. That's another way in. You know what I mean? That's the alternative way in, but that's a tough one. That's like the route where it's like you switch from like QB to wide receiver. Like, you want to be a QB bad, dude. You want to be throwing the ball, but like you might just have to take the L and switch over to receiver. I might have to do that, but I won't be a receiver, if you know what I mean. I'll be not a receiver. But yeah, if I was gay, life would be probably a lot better. And another thing they talk about with like gay people versus like lesbians or whatever is like the amount of domestic abuse. Like, gay dudes have the lowest amount of domestic abuse, and then like lesbians have the highest, and then like straight people are right in the middle. But I think the thing about that is like the gays are definitely beating the shit out of each other, but that's like a fair fucking fight, right? Like, that's just, and they're also not gonna go around bitching about it, right? Like they don't love bitching like that. They love bitching about like other shit, like shit that's not relevant to their life. That's what they like bitching about. And that's what I like bitching about as well. So I've already got like the footwork to be a receiver, but like I'm not quite there yet. You know what I mean? I've got to learn how to catch soon, you know? I might have to hit the jugs machine. That's what sucking a dildo is. Sucking a dildo is like the jugs machine. of going from a QB or going from straight to gay. It's like I gotta hit the jugs machine every day, dude. Just shoving dildos down my throat. Just, you're gay now. You're gay. Just doing that every day. Just slamming the back of my uvula on a dildo every day. Calling it the jugs machine. Sorry, I can't hang out today. Gotta hit the jugs machine, you know? Look, I don't want to do it either, but I gotta make the switch to receiver if I want to make it to the league. If I want to go D1, I gotta make the switch to receiver. It's time to hit the jugs machine. It's time to start shoving dicks down my throat. Or the alternative is, because I don't want to be a receiver, right? It's not in my game plan. I don't want to be a receiver. I don't think I would be good at it. I got a flat ass, dude. I got a drywall ass. You know what I mean? I got a very Midwestern ass in that way. It's very flat. It's flat, but it's somehow squishy at the same. It's absurd. You guys should see. I should post a picture of this thing. This thing is crazy. I do have the love handles though. You know what I mean? So I kind of got a receiver build, but like not really. So I gotta, you know what I mean? So I think the alternative to that is if you're gonna be fucking, you gotta get your hands like all calloused up. You know what I mean? Those things better look like dog paws if you wanna, you know, so you can get through the hairy butthole. Just, you know, get in there and rub back and forth. I think that's the way we gotta do it. You know what I mean? Or just like tape a bunch of like, what are those, Brillo pads together? Like make a fleshlight out of Brillo pads. I think that might be the other way in. That might be like the alternative to the jugs machine. You know what I mean? It's more like I'm playing with like a shitty QB. I think that's what that would be. So I think that's how you make the switch over. And also, I just got the shit talking down. You know what I mean? Of the gay people. Like the misogyny, the shit talking, the walk. I feel like I have a bit of a gay walk. My knees don't really bend. I feel like the gay people, their knees don't bend really well either, from all that time they spend doing jumping jacks on the D. So I feel like I'm already halfway there. I feel like I just got to like switch over a little bit. I still got the QB mentality. I'm still like looking for open receivers, passing the ball, looking at my right side, seeing if there's a D end, you know, curling around or whatever. But I got to get in that wide receiver mentality. I got to start footwork drills every single day, you know. Got to memorize all the routes. Got to understand how cornerbacks work. You know what I mean? Like depth. That's an important thing that receivers and gay people both have to understand. You know what I mean? Is depth. Because when you clean out when a gay dude cleans out his asshole, how deep is that thing, what's that called? The enema. How deep is the enema going in there? I can't imagine it's all the way. So you got to understand the depth behind it, you know? And every cornerback plays with a different depth. Sometimes you don't have to worry about depth at all when it comes to the cornerback. It's going to be the same no matter what you do, right? That's a dude who cleans his asshole out really well, you know? But sometimes, you know, depth is something you got to worry about. So, you know what I mean? You get in there too deep, you might have a little fucking scoop of chocolate on your vanilla, if you understand where I'm coming from. So that's another important part of the switch to gay you got to worry about. You got to think about depth. You can't be just getting all the way in there, you know? And that is another thing about when people talk about like gay son versus thought daughter. It's like, well, what kind of thought daughter would I have, right? Because one type of thought daughter is just a chick giving head. Like that's just some love of the game shit. That's just she loves sucking dick. She loves getting dudes off, whatever. That's love of the game. I can at least, you know, understand where she's coming from. I can respect that. And then there's like the pussy, the pussy sluts. And that's like, okay, well we're getting into like you just like what's going on there, right? Like I can't, because we all know that's a myth, right? We all know the female orgasm, the clitoris, everything about that whole, I think vaginas at this point might be I think there's just a pee hole there. I think it's just like smooth with a pee hole. I'm convinced of that at this point. That might be the conspiracy I have to do. Like they're just Ken dolls with a pee hole. That's all it is. The lips are like a complete fabrication. So that's what I'm cooking up there. But then, and this is where the worst part comes in, when we're talking about gay son thought daughter, you could end up with a butt slut, right? And a butt slut is that's entirely your fault. Like if you end up with a daughter that's a butt slut, like that's entirely on you. There's no type of like nature versus nurture. That's completely nurture. There's no amount of, you know, you fucked up somewhere in there, right? It's like when you have like a schizophrenic son that like, look, he's probably going to end up like, I don't know, beating the shit out of someone at his job because he thinks he's like a giant rabbit, like some Donnie Darko shit. You might end up with that That's just the game. You got to respect that. It's how the game plays. Let the fucking, tie goes to the runner in that situation. Hell, I don't know. But like if you end up with like a schizophrenic son that like, I don't know, what is schizophrenic? If you end up with a schizophrenic son that kills a few people at a grocery store and then kills himself because he thinks he's going to end up in a Danny Phantom world, that one's kind of on you, Same thing if you end up with a butt slut. If you end up with just a regular slut daughter, it was going to, sometimes it's just going to happen. It's the way the game's going to go. You're going to lose a few. You're going to win a few. It's just the way. But if you end up with a butt slut, a chick that's cleaning out her ass every night with a fucking pot of coffee, that one's on you. You gotta understand. You gotta adjust the game. Might have to go Omni-Man. You might have to acknowledge your fuck up, but then be like, I gotta kill this chick straight up. Like one of like those dudes that like kills his whole family so that he can run off with some chick. Like one of the, you might have to do that. You might have to kill your entire family and put them in a septic tank, so that you don't have to live with the fact that you have a butt slut daughter. That might be the only way out of that. And that is ironic. Killing your butt slut daughter and putting her in a septic tank, that's some weird Freudian shit right there. But it might be what you have to do if you end up with a butt slut daughter. If you end up with like a head daughter, especially if she doesn't swallow. If you end up with like a daughter that just like gives head to a bunch of dudes and then she like spits it out on their bed sheet, that's a feminist right there. You know what I mean? That's some fucking, who's like the most famous feminist. I don't fucking know the name of any feminist. I'm going to make one up right now. The name of a feminist. Elizabeth, because we got to go with Elizabeth. I think Victoria maybe could work there, but I think Elizabeth is maybe a little bit better. Maybe Mary, but I'm thinking we got to go with like a dude first name or like some kind of bird or whatever, like Elizabeth Cardinal Sun. I feel like that's definitely the name of like a famous feminist like literature person, like a chick that like writes poems. Tampon, maxi pad, panty liner, diaper, infantilization, change my diaper, like a chick that writes that. There's definitely a chick named like Lindsay Mockingbird that writes poems like that. And I've probably been forced to read a few in a creative writing class, but hell, once again, that's the game. You know what I mean? You end up at a liberal arts college, you can't complain when liberal arts shit happens, right? You can't complain when people are running around with tails and shit. It's what's going to happen. Especially like a rural Minnesota liberal arts college, you got to expect some wild shit, That's a full-on, that's a nature documentary right there. That's another thing, dude. Documentaries, that's how lazy we're getting, dude. It could be that like real life is getting crazier than the movies, because I feel like at this point, any movie that's like not complete nonsense, that's not like a Marvel movie, could be real. Like that movie Longlegs, I did watch Longlegs recently. There's a 90% chance that that's like 100% true, right? What's that line from Anchorman? It's 60%, whatever. But like there's a pretty good chance that happened for real. That's the way the world's going. Everything's going crazy. But I feel like that's probably been true like throughout history, just no one knew how to write. Like there probably was like a fucking, like one of those crazy cults or like serial killers. Like what's the name of the cult? Nexium or whatever. There was probably like, that's what like old kingdoms were, like old Germanic kingdoms in like the medieval ages or like the 1200s or whatever. Like that was all just like Nexium cults. It was just a country full of Nexium cults. That's all it was. But like no one wrote it down. Like no one was like, dude. No one had like the hindsight or the foresight to be like, dude, this is fucking crazy. This dude just has a giant house made out of rocks and we all just listen to him. What the fuck is this? Like that's what that was back then. Like a fucking, like some dude from Africa that just picks pears all day. Just got kidnapped and transported and put into like some rich dude's zoo and was like, this guy just lives in a giant house made out of rocks and everyone listens to him all day, but he couldn't write it down. He couldn't be like, yo, Dear Diary, this shit is fucking crazy. He couldn't do one of those things. But I feel like that has to have been, like happened throughout history, or it just got completely destroyed. That could be the other thing when like Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, like all these major religions, when they would just like dominate shit. You can't do that anymore. Like especially in America, like I'm sure there's cults popping up all over the place in like China or fucking North Korea or whatever, like shit like that. But China's just like, nope, not having any of that today. No one's gonna notice if a billion people live in this country. It's way more than a billion. It's like 1.3 billion. Like, they have 1 billion more people than us living in China. It's not 700 million. It's 1 billion more. They're like, fuck it. There's a little cult popping up. Like, they must have Wacos like every single fucking day, just dropping missiles on them. Just like, fucking kill them all, dude. I'm not dealing with this today, dude. This is too much bullshit. We can't make concentration camps for all of them. Just kill all of them. It's over with. That has to be happening in China. Like, rural China, the most boring fucking place on earth. You're telling me they're not coming up with like the most insane religions and cults you've ever heard of? I don't believe it for a fucking second, dude. They're probably out there going back to like caveman times, like worshiping, like there's just a big rock and 80,000 people are just worshiping every day. And the Chinese government figures out and they're just like, we could drop a nuke there, right? No one would notice if we just a little one. Just tell them it's a fucking test, dude. We gotta kill all these guys somehow. I'm not gonna have dudes going there with guns. That's way too much fucking work. Just send a little nuke over there. Tell the U.S. it was a little test we were doing in Western China. No one, they don't fucking know shit about us anyway. Just kill them all. That must be happening constantly in China. And like same in like rural Siberia or whatever. But the Russian government definitely isn't getting out there. They're definitely too focused on Ukraine. How fucking annoying must Ukraine be to the fucking Russian government? They're like, dude, how long has it been? Like 3 years or whatever. We've been in here for 3 years and we can't conquer 2 fucking shitty states. That must be the most annoying thing on earth. It's like when your keys don't work in the door. It's like you flip the keys around 100 times. You like wiggle them back and forth. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? That's what it must be like for Vladimir Putin right now. He's like, what's happening? We can't figure this one out. This is a pretty simple one, dude. He must be flashing back to like the old USSR days when they could just go wherever they want and just kill everybody. He must be just, Jesus, fuck it. You can't take over Ukraine. I'm not even asking you to get to Kiev or fucking Odessa or any of the big cities. I'm not asking you to take over the whole thing. Just give me 2 little shitty fucking provinces. That's all I'm asking you to do. He's jiggling his keys in the fucking door right now. He might open the door. He might get it open, but I'm feeling like the keys are going to break off in the doorknob. And he's just going to be like, fucking fuck. Jesus Christ. Can't you do anything fucking right? Just hitting himself in the fucking head, pulling like whatever thin hair he has left there. What the fuck? Why isn't it working? We did this 1,000 times when we were the USSR. The USSR did this 1,000,000 different fucking ways, and you guys can't do it fucking once. I've opened the door 1,000,000 fucking times, and you guys can't take over 2 shitty states in the fucking Ukraine, dude. We had Kazakhstan in our fucking back pocket, and you guys can't get Ukraine. He must be pissed as hell right now, dude. He must be whooping on ass, dude. Or he's just completely Bidened out. He's just like, we're gonna go in Ukraine. Ukraine, what's going on over there? You know, it's just giving speeches like that. It's either or, dude. Or he might be Michael Jacksoned out, you know? Just taking like anesthesia, GHB, propofol every night. Just like drugs no one's ever heard of or can pronounce, like the most esoteric drugs on earth. He's just in like a hut filled with like xenon gas. He's Kanye'd out. But if Kanye was leading that shit, they'd probably switch to him. You know, they'd hear graduation, they'd be like, all right, maybe we should stop the fighting. You know, maybe the beef should stop. Maybe we should just join Russia. But it is the exact same thing. I hate to break it. It's the exact same thing, right? It's like the beef between like India and Pakistan. It's like you guys used to be the same thing. You guys were like under British rule for like 200 fucking years or whatever. Were the exact. What's happening now? You know, that's like the beef between Russia and Ukraine. It's like what's happening? Guys, come on. Can't we just be friends? You guys used to be the best of friends. You used to go to fucking movies every night. You used to watch Planet of the Apes together and fucking do the Caesar. You guys used to say, apes together strong, all the fucking time. Now you're beefing? What's going on here, guys? You know? We might just need like a school counselor to like calm down the situation. You know? Just go in there and be like, you guys used to be best friends. What happened here? We need some fat black lady from Detroit to be like, all right, knock off the nonsense. Y'all are best friends. What the fuck is going on here? That's what we need, dude. They need some black energy. And that's what happens when white people don't have the blacks. They just start killing each other. You need a gigantic black woman. A black woman with arms thicker than her fucking legs that come in, fucking pointing all over her arms, jiggling back and forth. What the fuck is going on? Stop that shit. Cut it out. Y'all the best friends. That's what they need. I feel like they could, but there's none in there. There's none. You go over there, it's completely gone. And that's why the music is shit. That's like the joke, right? Like that's why their food is shit and they're fucking. And I'm thinking that's not true, right? Because like Italy, there's no blacks there. Same with like Spain, Greece, all that. There's not a lot of black people there. I think the food is shit in like the Britain and like Sweden and fucking Norway and like Russia and all that because the country shit, right? Like the place where it is, maybe not like the people or whatever, or like the fucking government, but like the place where it is like the worst place on earth, right? Like if you're there, you're not going to be like motivated to make good food. You don't even have time to worry about like what good food is, right? Like if you're in Africa or whatever and it's like it's warm all year round, you don't have to like you know what I mean? You don't have to like divert rivers to get water. You can just kind of like chill out a little bit, then you can worry about food. But not in Russia, they don't have time to worry about food. That's what it is. And that is very black of them to be like, I don't got time for that nonsense. Paprika? What you talking about damn paprika? It's fucking negative 60 degrees out here. I don't got time for no goddamn paprika. That is very black of them to do that. To just be like, I don't got time. No time for that nonsense. The fuck is you? What's he? You damn mind? That's what the country of Russia did when it came to food. They were like, food. The fuck is you talking about food, man? That's some white people shit talking about food up in here. I don't got time for no goddamn food. Seasoning, fucking crushed red pepper. I don't got time for that bullshit. That's what happened in Russia. The conversation of food came up. One guy was like, this shit's pretty bland. Right? I don't got time for that. What you talking about bland food? Get your ass on that bus and go to school. That's what happened over there. But, I mean, yeah. And speaking of food, speaking of growing food in cold weather, our topic today is greenhouses. We went 40 minutes without talking about greenhouses. But, so, a greenhouse is designed to regulate temperature and humidity. You know, you got to keep it warm in there. You got to keep it nice and humid, too. It's basically like a plant fuck house, right? Like that's what you're trying to create when you're creating like an agricultural greenhouse. It's just a place for like plants to fucking grow. That's what you're doing right there. So you got to keep it nice and humid. You need it to be nice and warm. And it's a plant fuck house. It's a plant funk house. You know, it's gonna smell funky in there, but you know, plants are fucking all the time in there. So that's just what you got to do. And so that is like the idea behind it, I guess, to like regulate temperature and humidity. And another important part of greenhouses that like most people don't think about, they're just like, it's a piece of fucking plastic. Just put the piece of plastic over the thing. A thing you have to worry about though is that it can get like way too hot in there, right? And this is another thing that exists with like those eco-friendly houses that don't have heating or cooling or whatever. That's like an important design of its architecture, right? Is like you need to be able to open like certain vents to like let cool air in, but not just let the air in, like make it flow throughout the whole thing. And I'm sure in agricultural warehouses, or not warehouses, greenhouses now, they're just like running fucking the AC full blast, like they don't care about it. They're like, yeah, why would I hire like a fucking nerd to design this shit, to design some airflow shit, when I can just put a giant AC unit in there? Like, why would I do that? So I'm sure that's what they're doing now, but like classically, like before all that, before we had the ACs, they had to design like vents and like cross streams and just all that type of bullshit. And so that's an important part of fucking greenhouse architecture they don't talk about. I don't know why we don't make all houses greenhouses. You know what I mean? Like that, I feel like that would solve a lot of problems. And it's probably like cheaper than, you know what I mean? Like making it out of like wood or stone or fucking drywall or whatever, just like plastic tarps. I feel like that's got to be cheaper. That's what that's what like poor people use to like fix their houses. So, but that is an important design, is like making sure you can get the proper ventilation in there, make sure the plants can breathe and all that. But, and I live on a farm, and so we do have a few greenhouses there. It gets funky in there, right? Like, that's how I know about the funk, you know? It's George Carlin up in there just playing the bass, just bong, 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 bong. Like, I think that's the Cosby theme song I just did, and that guy got funky. That guy got really, you know, he got really funky. You know, the food was funky, the drinks were funky, everything about him was funky. Everyone was like, Bill Cosby, yeah, his drinks and his barbecue sauce taste weird, but he's just funky like that. That's just a little bit of funk, you know? So that's what Bill Cosby was, just a greenhouse of a human being. Just pure funk all the time. That's what he's doing. He's just being funky over there. He was, I don't know how they got him. You know what I mean? How'd they get Cosby? Cosby just stopped being funny. Like, that's how he just stopped making TV shows, stopped putting out, like, comedy specials, and they were like, all right, if he's not doing all that and he's still raping, we gotta get rid of him. We gotta get rid of the funk, dude. The funk has died. We gotta get rid of Cosby. But that's like he was raping a lot of people, right? And a lot of people talk about how like they'd go back in time, and this is another time machine thing we're talking about here, right? And this is how you know I'm getting ready for the conspiracy episode, because a lot of that shit, people who like really love conspiracies and people who really love time travel, that's a big Venn diagram right there. That's like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of crossover there, but like the time machine thing is people would always talk about how they like go back in time and kill Hitler, you know, to stop the Holocaust from happening. And I did talk about this is my second time talking about this in 2 episodes. But like if I had a time machine and I wanted to stop the Holocaust, right? I don't think I'd go back in time and like kill baby Hitler or whatever, especially like killing a baby. And you got to make sure you got the right guy in that department too, right? Because you can't just go and imagine you only got one shot, right? You can only kill one baby. I think what I would do is I wouldn't go back in time and kill baby Hitler. I would dye my hair blonde, put in like blue eye contacts, like Kanye, like blue eye contacts, and I'd go back in time and I'd rape Hitler. I think that would be like more effective in like stopping that, right? Because, you know, Hitler's like one of those guys. He was always going to come to power. He just had that dog in him like that. You know, he was never going to get into art school. He was always going to come to power and do like some crazy shit. So I think what you got to do is you got to rape him. Like dress up like the Aryan race and then rape Hitler. I think RAPE. Rape Hitler. And I feel like that would be like a better plan to figure that out, right? Because then he's going to get the power, and he's going to be like, well, a Jew definitely didn't rape me. That guy who raped me definitely wasn't a Jew. He might commit a Holocaust against, like, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed people, but I feel like there's, even in Germany, like, even at that time, there probably wasn't a whole ton of them. So I feel like we're minimizing damage here. Like, that guy's going to commit a Holocaust probably no matter what. He was just like the Jews. That's just the easiest fucking option here. Everyone, you know, everyone's always talking about him. They're always doing some weird shit, you know. They're always fucking, you know what I mean? They wear those weird hats. They always got some kind of weird hat on them. I'll just do those guys. I think that's what he did, right? He wasn't like, they're destroying us. They're killing the world. He was like, no, that's just the easiest option here, right? It's just, fuck, dude, I gotta kill a lot of people. I can't, there's no black people here to kill, right? I can't commit a Holocaust against black people. I can't, fuck it, I'll go with the Jews, all right? I just want to kill a bunch of people. I'll do that. So I think if I went back in time, dressed as a member of the Aryan race, and then raped Hitler, I think that would be like, you know, we're minimizing the damage there. Because blonde hair, blue-eyed people, there's not a whole ton of them anyway. We're probably talking less than a milli. Probably less than like 250,000, I feel like, in that type of situation. So I feel like right there, I go back in time, get nice blonde hair, you know what I mean? Not too blonde, but, you know, I'm not going like platinum blonde, but like a nice fake blonde, you know, like a chick that wears like pink cowboy hats, like that type of blonde. Some nice blue eyes. You can really do anything with the eyes, because people with blue eyes, even if they're just slightly blue, they look fucking freakish. And so I think I'll do that, go back in time, rape Hitler. And even if I don't get Hitler himself, because what my plan is I'm going to go back to like his formative years, right? Like early college, like late teens or early 20s, like that type of time. And so I'm sure I'll get like, even if I can't get the H-Man himself, I could probably get someone in his friend group, and then the dude in his friend group would be like, a guy with blonde hair and blue eyes raped me. He put his schwiener inside my bumhole. His schwiener got hard and it went inside my bumhole. It wasn't very big, but I didn't enjoy it. I think that's what I gotta do. And then he'll pass the word to the H-Man. The H-Man will grit his teeth and be like, he had blonde hair and blue eyes? All right, that's our target. That's who we're going after. So I feel like that's how I would stop the Holocaust if I had a time machine. I would butt rape Hitler or one of his friends, or just like someone. I would just publicly butt rape someone. If I couldn't find Hitler himself, I'd be like, all right, where would Hitler be? And then I'd find someone like in that area, you know, take him out on the street and then butt rape him. And then, you know, even if I die, I stop the Holocaust, all right? And so you got to give me my fucking flowers there. I stopped one Holocaust, kind of started another, but like, I'm talking like 100,000 people. That's not too many people, and they're going to get away pretty easy. You know, they can just kind of dye the hair, right? It's not like they're keeping records of it or whatever, so they can just dye the hair, get the fuck out, go to like Norway or England or whatever. So I'm minimizing damage there. And so I think that's what I would do if I had a time machine. I figured it out. All right, I go back in time and I butt rape Hitler or one of his friends. And I think that's a pretty solid plan, you know? because you don't want to kill him. You don't want to, because then that's going to cause the whole thing. Especially if you get him at a time when he was like just starting out and like spreading his ideas and stuff. Then someone else is going to take the throne, and they're probably going to go even fucking crazier than him, right? Like a non-schizophrenic guy trying to commit the Holocaust, that would probably have been way more fucking efficient. Like if Hitler wasn't out of his fucking mind, the Holocaust probably would have been way worse. So we should, hey, count your lucky stars and thank God and think, your fake God that doesn't exist, right? The fake Jewish God that it was Hitler who did the Holocaust and not some fucking normal guy. And so I think that's what I would do with my time machine, or I'd just go look at dinosaurs, right? What am I going to do? I'm going to learn how to butt rape a man. That could be part of my gay conversion. Like maybe if I like fully convert to gay, like some future version of myself will like come back in time and be like, you need to go butt rape Hitler. You need to go do it. Go. Now. I know you've been preparing. You've been training for this exact moment. This is the only time. This is the only time you're horny enough to go butt rape Hitler. You're perfectly horny. Go. He comes back with a box of hair dye and a fucking contacts case. Tells me to go get Hitler. Go get him. I know you can do this, kid. His butt's wide open, ready for the taking. I'd wait till he was sleeping. You know what I mean? A nice, and Hitler was like a nice, he was a short guy, like probably shorter than me. Nice, like 5'3" little Hitler, sleeping in his bed, just, snoring in German. His ass is kind of up in the air, you know what I mean? He's got like one leg kind of up while he's sleeping, that type of position. He's sleeping on his back. Yeah, I think it would be fun. I think, and you look at him too, he's not like a super masculine guy. He does have the mustache, but I think at this time he'd just have like maybe a little bit of peach fuzz, but his face would still be like soft and supple and stuff. And I'd go up on him. His butt wouldn't be hairy at all, dude. It would be so nice and smooth, dude. And I would go pre-World War I times, because he did fight in World War I. And so you got to go before World War I, where he's like all fucked up and he has like PTSD, because then he'll wake up and he'll just stab you in the neck. And I'd go in there. I'd have like a bottle of baby oil. I'd have to make sure he sees my face, though, so I'd flip him over. I'd maybe get a few thrusts in from the back, just boom, 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 boom. See puppy. How do you say? Ya pop. Ya fatter, hitting it from the back a little bit. Then I'd bring him over the edge of the bed, put one leg over my shoulder, put the other leg over my shoulder. Then just start getting in there, being like, look at me, Hitler. Look at my blonde hair and my blue eyes, And I'd watch his penis like slowly get hard. Like at first he'd be like, nine, no, 9. And then he'd like slowly, and I'd be like, yeah, take that dick, Hitler. Take that dickler, Hitler. I'd give him the dickler. That's what I would do to Hitler. Or you could just unleash the hounds on him, dude. You could just like go to fucking like one of like those gay neighborhoods in San Francisco, be like, I got a case full of poppers. I got a half ounce of meth. Go back in time. I'm telling you where to go. Hop out of this time machine. There's going to be a soft, supple, 18-year-old boy sleeping in that bed. I could unleash the hounds on him. You know what I mean? The Rottweiler, the Belgian Malinois. I could unleash that on Hitler. That could be the plan. Or I could just go back in time and just like, I don't know, move a rock or something. That could be the other option, but I'm thinking raping Hitler. It's just fun for the whole family. I think that's what that would be. And fun for the whole family also includes greenhouses. Have large areas to let sunlight in and block it as heat. So I guess this is like another important thing, is that you let the heat in, but you have something that's like insulating, right? So that the light can go in, but once it like hits the ground and like heats up the ground, then it can't escape as heat. That's like another important part of greenhouses, and that's another important part of raping Hitler. You can't let him escape, dude, because if you let him get in before he sees that blonde hair and those blue eyes, that could, you're not changing the timeline there too much. Especially me, like I kind of have a big nose. Like I'm raping him from the back, and he like puts his hand back there to like gouge at my eyes, and he feels my big nose. That could make it even worse. And he like I do kind of have like a nasally voice like that, so I feel like that would make it even worse. So you gotta not let it escape, right? That goes for raping Hitler and making greenhouses. Those are two very important things about it. You got to remember. And another important thing about greenhouses is that they're also called hot houses and glass houses. And all these words are used interchangeably. They all are technically different things. Like a hot house is a greenhouse with like a heater inside of it. And then a glass house is obviously one made out of glass, but like they all mean the same thing. I've never heard someone call it a hot house though. And then greenhouses were first used or were first invented to grow produce all year round, right? Like nowadays you think of a greenhouse and you think of people growing like lily pads and having like butterflies fly around it and shit. Originally it was like we're trying to like grow grow shit all year round. And like the first example of people using like controlled climates or whatever, or like microclimates, whatever it's called, to create produce all year round is there was like this Roman emperor. This is funny as hell, dude. And his doctor was like, you need to eat a cucumber every day. So back in Roman times, I guess it was a cucumber a day keeps the doctor away. He was like, you need to eat one cucumber every day. And so what they did is they would have like these carts that they would wheel out during the day, and they were like had cucumber plants growing on them. And they would wheel them out during the day when it was like kind of warmer and there was like a lot of sunlight, so that the sun could hit the cucumbers and make them grow. And then they'd take them inside at night. And that's how they did. And speaking of putting cucumbers in dark things, that's what I'd do to Hitler. I'd put my cucumber in his warm house. And that was the other thing. Why they brought him inside is because at night it got too cold and it would like kill the cucumber plants. So there was and maybe this doctor was just fucking with him. This guy could have been a time traveler. He could have been like, dude, I'm going to make this guy like eat whole cucumbers, dude. This is going to be so fucking funny. And then he accidentally invented greenhouses. And then the first like real greenhouses were invented in Korea, right? Yeah, they were first invented in 15th century Korea, and they had like heated floor systems in them, dude. So this was like a pimped out fucking greenhouse. And they probably didn't have like a ton of glass like back in like old medieval times and shit. And like especially in Korea, I don't know why, especially in Korea. They probably didn't have glass in medieval Korea because all the glass was being used for glasses. Boom shakalaka, dunked on them. Dunk from the free throw line. Don't fuck with me. So they probably didn't have a glass because they were using it all to make glasses. And all the car crashes, that probably used up a lot of glasses too, or a lot of glass too. And so they had heated floors in there to keep the bitch going. And they also grew cucumbers in there. I guess cucumbers were a pretty fucking big deal back then. But that's like the most boring fucking fruit on earth, right? That's like inventing nukes so that you can like, I don't know, play Mario Kart or whatever. Like that's the equivalent. Like I like cucumbers and I like Mario Kart. But like I'm not gonna invent anything fucking crazy, to like so that I can play more Mario Kart. But I guess that's what they were doing. Everyone was trying to munch on cucumbers back then. It's such a boring fruit. You'd think they'd be growing like opium or like some fun shit in there, but no, they were growing cucumbers. Opium though, that would have been fun as hell, dude. Imagine medieval times. You're just like slowly dying, and some merchant that's also slowly dying like shows up from Korea, and you're like, "What's in that jar?" And he's like, "It is opium. We got it from the Oriental lands." That was my European merchant accent. And I'm like, fucking, what is it? And they're like, dude, smoke this shit. You're going to be having so much fun. That would have been so much. When opium first dropped back in the day, and this was like pure, good, sticky opium, it didn't get you so high that you were like fully like fucking zombied out and like shaking, like, It probably got you a nice little nod going on. Oh, that was probably so fun back in the day, dude. Back when opium first dropped, and then they ruined it. They ruined it by making it fentanyl. That's another plan to like end homelessness or whatever. Get them off the fentanyl, get them off the heroin, the meth, all that shit. Get them on like classic opium, dude. Like jars of sticky, delicious opium. Have them like, That's why we need the Chinese to come over. Like Trump, his whole big thing is like stopping immigration or whatever. I think we need to increase immigration, but only from like China and like Cambodia and Vietnam, like shit like that. Like places where they have a lot of opium going on. That's what we need, so we can get all these people, all these fucking schizophrenics on opium. Just a nice little nod all day, and you can still work on that shit. Get them jobs where you can kind of nod off. Like, what's a job where you can nod off all day? Insurance adjuster? I don't fucking, just like one of like those bullshit jobs like that. Just give them like jars of opium every day. Have them sleep in their fucking cubicles for all I care, and just have them like deny fucking insurance claims all day. And just give them pay them in jars of opium, and just have them be like, "Oh, your grandma fell down the stairs. Sounds like a pre-existing condition to me." Boom. Just have them do that all day. And if you're kind of nodded over too, you got that force already going down on the stamp, right? Like you take a hit of the opium while you have the stamp in your hand, and then as you're nodding off, you deny it right onto the insurance claim. And another fun fact about greenhouses going on is that England and the Netherlands started like kind of perfecting the greenhouses, like figuring out how to do it without heating going on in like the 17th century, so like the 1600s going on. And they were talking about how like the Netherlands, that's Sodom and Gomorrah right there. Those people, and it was talking about how like the Netherlands always like had the biggest greenhouses of the time, like tons of like huge giant greenhouses. And those people, they fucking defy nature and God all the like half their country only exists because they like half their country's like below sea level or something like that because they pumped all the seawater out of it. And that's God's gonna get them good, dude. That's like a they would make fucking Katrina look like a joke, dude. Like we need George Bush to open up the floodgates on the Netherlands and just kill like 1 million fucking people. George Bush does not care about black people. That's what we need. That's what we need. George Bush, like right before George Bush dies, like as he's in hospice, have him like press a button to open up the fucking the what did he open up in New Orleans? Like the dikes, is that what they're called? Something like that. Like he opened up like the floodgates in New Orleans and just flooded all these black neighborhoods. And so that's what we need to do, but in the Netherlands. We need him like on his deathbed, just like George Bush, we don't care about the Epstein shit. I don't care how many fucking kids you fucked. The people in the Netherlands are getting so goddamn annoying, and they are. They're like Norway and like Sweden and shit like that, where they're like, oh, America's they're not so good over there. And it's like, first of all, why are you talking, dude? We could destroy your whole country. And it's not like Sweden or whatever, where they can like, I don't know, like the Viking part of them like unlocks and they go and hide in the woods or whatever. That's not going to happen in the Netherlands. Like the Netherlands is one of those places that's just pure. Everyone in there, their brain is built like an agrarian peasant, dude. They're not going to go hit the woods. They're not going to go hide in the woods. So it's like, what the fuck are you talking shit for, dude? I'll fucking rip your face off. But that's what we need, George Bush. Just like a bunch of like Acme dynamite sticks on a fucking on the dams in the Netherlands, and we just need him like, come on, George, just press the fucking button, do it for us, George. We'll never bring up 9/11 again. Just press the fucking button. Come on, you could do it. And then just have Dick Cheney come in and do it for him. That's what we need. That's what we need going on. But giant glass houses were built in Victoria era England and focused on horticulture. And this is where they switched over from like growing cucumbers or whatever to being like, let's get some fucking butterflies in here. You know what I mean? We need there's these sick ass things that live in the Americas. You know how we turned our entire country into a giant wheat field? They got some wild ass shit over in America. They didn't turn their entire continent into a giant wheat field. So let's go steal some shit from over there, put it in these greenhouses. It's going to be fun as fuck to look at. Dude, I went to Africa last week and I found these short ass little dudes that live in the woods. I think they can only live in warm climates, so let's go put them in a greenhouse. And that's what they were doing in like the 19th century, so like the 1800s. And then the geodesic dome. And if you don't know what I'm talking about here, it's like basically like a clear Epcot ball. That was invented in the 20th century. And that's like another sick-ass type of greenhouse. And that's what they use for the world's biggest greenhouse, which is, it's called the Eden Project. And it's in like the Cornwall of UK. It's like one of like those places. It's just a completely random fucking place, but it's like this huge 30-acre greenhouse with like an indoor jungle. Like it's like 4 acres of jungle in the middle of the fucking like UK countryside. It's pretty sick. I'd visit for sure. And then tomatoes are number 1 in greenhouses, and guess what number 2 is, dude? Cucumbers. We're still doing all this work to get a pretty mediocre vegetable. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand anything. And that's all I've got for this episode, you guys. The opium hit me. I just took a big old hit off my opium pipe. Hope you have a good day, good week, good year, good life. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. I don't know what the episode is going to be, but I'll see you guys.